So after the computer started up, you should end up with 3 windows on all 3 screens. The top one's the projector screen, the EFIS screen here is the control screen for the computer, so we've got all the control icons on here, and then this screen is just by itself for the GNS 530 on its own. So just to check that the screens are correct in the computer, right click anywhere in the screen area and select display settings, second from the bottom. You should see this picture here. Number 1 is the projector screen, which is at the top there. Number 3 is the EFIS screen, and number 2 is the GNS 530. And if you get those 3, then that means the computer started up properly and configured the screens correctly. And to double check that, if you click on this icon, this ident icon here, and then you'll get these numbers appearing on the screens, 1, 2, 3. So 1 at the top for the projector, and 2 again for the GNS 530, and 3 for the main screen.
And that was by clicking on
ident there.
Yeah.
So having done that, you now know the computer's set to go. So you now double click on the X-plane icon, 1, 2, and then everything disappears, and it'll now take about a minute or so for X-plane 11 to boot up. So you can see the GNS 530 is fired up, and you're getting a startup message here. So that's correct, we don't need to worry about that anymore. But you see what's happened, although I configured it previously to show on 2 screens, the main projector screen is still showing a Windows screen, it's not showing X-plane.
Yeah.
So if you now hit the Windows button on the keyboard, so hit the Windows button on the keyboard, and that brings up these things here because this is the control screen. And if you then go to X-plane and click on it, you'll see you've got 2 screens plus the GNS 530. So the software believes this one is going to the projector, but it's not. There's nothing there. But this one is the control screen, and we need to click on that to bring it up onto this screen. And if you go up to the top, open the settings window. So you open the settings window.
That was second from the right.
That was second from the right, and then you go all the way along here. You actually want graphics, which is that one there, and then I'm using the window mouse, or you pull this bar down, you just scroll down to the bottom of the screen, and now this is showing the operation of the screen. So the left-hand area is the projector. It says it's unused, which is lying.
Monitor 2, yeah.
Monitor 2. This is the main monitor, which is the control monitor that we're using on the EFIS. And then here again is the monitor we use for the GNS 530, which it says is unused because that's not part of X-plane. The 530 program is something that sits on the side of X-plane. So that's all correct. So what you have to do now, unfortunately, is you have to go here where it says full screen, and you have to select unused. But if you move across to this one and select full screen there, now it will pull the scenery up onto the projector, which is what you want. Yep. So that's fine. And the last thing you need to do, because of the way the projector sits on top of the cockpit, if we're going to use the projector, you need to change the vertical rotation. And I don't know why it doesn't remember this. And I found -9 in there is about right. And you see what's happened now. If you look at the top, the horizons moved right up the picture to near the top of the screen. And when you've done that, that should be it. So go done, and now everything's working. So you've got the outside world there. This is still the control screen. And if I go back to Windows again and click on X-plane, so we've now got, that's correct. So that's the projected screen. This is the control screen here, which is the one we want on here. So now X-plane is running correctly. To just finish the startup procedure off, because this should show an EFIS screen. So again, it's back to Windows key on the keyboard. Right. Push that, and then it's not showing the program I want. So I'm having to type in here Air, A-I-R, and it's brought up Air Manager. So click on Air Manager, which it starts. There it is, and it puts up the screen we want. There we go. So now we've got an EFIS screen that's working properly, an outside world screen that's working properly, and the GNS 530
GNS 530, you're going to press the OK button.
Well, just to start it, that's normal. That is absolutely normal.
That's standard.
To do that. That's standard, yeah. And eventually there's all the, and there we are. So we're
job done.
So job done. So